Hey everybody, welcome to another live show with Art City. I am Angela. Today we are going to be doing a fun painting project that I hope you all enjoy. Let me zoom up a little bit. Maybe that's a little too far down. Okay, so today we're going to be doing a painting project. You're going to need paintbrushes, different sizes, big one. You're also going to need some thin ones, right? And these brushes right here I have are stencil brushes. If you don't have stencil brushes, you can use your fingers. That works just as good. I like the stencil brushes because I like to scrub. So, and then your tiny brushes. So a nice range of brushes that you're going to need. Make sure you cover your table for this project because last night when I was doing the example, I was painting and I had my table covered but not very well, and I wound up finding I'm still finding little paint dots all over my table. So make sure you have it covered. You're also going to need acrylic paint. I suggest a range of blues, maybe some pinks if you want yellows, or maybe some browns, depending on how you want your painting to look. You definitely need white. This is one you need, and a black. This is a Payne's gray, but close enough. I realized it after I started on it, but I'm not going to go back now because I already have one done. So this is what, you're going to need some tape too. You definitely need tape. So this is what we're doing. We're going to paint a pair of shoes. Well, one shoe because I already have this one done. This is my example. But, and to look like a galaxy. These are my old Chucks that I have, and I left them outside and forgot about them, so they got gross, and the sun kind of changed the color of them. They were gray, darker gray, and so now I just decided to paint them. Ooh, dirty shit. I decided to paint them to look like a galaxy. They look really cool, or it looks really cool anyway. So this is what we're gonna do. So you're definitely gonna need a pair of shoes or a shoe if you just want to do a shoe. It's up to you. Okay, so the first thing you're going to need is, don't forget, you're gonna need a palette. You're gonna need a water container of some sort to rinse your brushes. You will need a paint rag, and I think I said everything. Okay. Start off, you want to take your shoe. Where is my shoe? Here it is. You want to take your shoe and clean it if it's got any dirt on it. This is the best I could get it clean. So it's still pretty nasty looking, but you know, Chucks look better the older they get and the more worn in they get. They are just comfortable, and you know, it gives them some character. So I'm going to take this shoe, and I already wiped it off. I cleaned it with vinegar and I use Tilex. If you use Tilex, it's watered down. Mine is watered down. But if you use that and you're a kid, make sure your adult does that for you. But just clean it off. You could probably use vinegar or baking soda would probably get a lot of the dirt off, which the vinegar did work pretty well on this. So clean off all that stuff first, and then once you have that done, take your shoestrings out. So I'm going to take my shoestrings out of this. Okay, lay my paints down. Those are annoying me. Okay, and then just take all your shoestrings out of both of them if you're going to do both shoes. Like I said, I already did the one, so for those of you just joining, we are painting a pair of Converse Chucks, or whatever shoe you have that you want to paint. My suggestion is to have canvas shoes. I've never tried this with just a regular leather shoe. However, I'm sure it works because I do painted pendants with leather and faux leather, and the acrylic paint seems to stay on them, so you should be okay. All right, and then just put your shoestring aside. And then the next step is painting it. Or no, that's not the next step. Sorry. The next step is to tape it. So you want to tape all of your sides of your shoe that has plastic on it that you don't want getting nasty. So you want to start off with doing the top. You definitely don't want to get that top nasty unless you want to squirt paint drips all over the top of it. That's up to you, but I am not doing that. I'm covering it up. So you want to cover up your shoe there. And then I say painter's tape, or you could also use masking tape. That's up to you. I'm using painter's tape. It peels off real easy. But remember, make sure you get that all cleaned off, because if you don't have it cleaned off, your tape ink isn't going to stick to it, and then you're going to have an issue when you paint. So when you're doing this, I find that sometimes my Chuck Taylors want to come away from the side of the shoe. So if you have that, you could just push that painter's tape onto it like that, kind of fold it over, right? There we go. Okay, and then just do that all the way around. So we're going to work that all the way around. Pretty sure I have enough tape. And tape your whole shoe as close as you could get. You don't want to go over too far. Like if you can't get that tucked or whatever, just make sure you kind of push it into the edge there, because, well, your paint will get on it and then it'll leave like a mark, and you don't want that. So here. I thought this would be a fun project to do. I love painting galaxies anyway, so space things. So I thought this would be fun to teach everybody how to do. All right, and then you remember, kind of push it in on that edge. You don't have to worry about this bottom part here. You just mainly want to get the edges that are around the canvas part of the shoe, or whatever type of shoe you have, you know. Okay. And then just work your way around. Once you get that done, there's one other step. If you have the Chuck Taylor, the Chuck tennis shoes, the Converse, like I do, you'll have, a lot of times there'll be a label on the top of it. You want to put a piece of tape over that if you don't want to paint that. That's up to you. This one I did not paint. I thought it kind of blended in real well with the rest of the shoe, so I left it. But you don't have to paint it. If you don't want to paint it, don't. If you do, do. That's up to you. That rhymed. All right, and then once we get all this taped off, this is the part that takes a really long time, is the taping of it, because you want to just make sure, that you don't have any of that exposed. Otherwise, it's gonna, I mean, it's possible since it's rubber that it would scrape off, but who wants to take the time to scrape all the paint off from a rubber shoe, rubber sole, you know? There we go. So I'm just gonna push this all down in here. And I'm almost done, almost done. All right, and then the next step is to just finish this one up. All right. Up. You want to make sure you don't get it on that canvas, because it'll leave a line. I actually did that, and I'll show you what I mean. Because I got mine on the canvas, and I think I almost got it. Not on the canvas, I mean on the tag. I got it on the tag, and I'll show you. There we go. Just make sure you get it all covered. There, now I have it all covered. Except for this part. Now I have this part that I want to cover up. If you see here, I accidentally put the tape over too far, and so this part didn't get painted. So I'm gonna have to go back over that and fix that. But anyway, for those of you just joining, we are painting a pair of tennis shoes to look like the galaxy and stars. Okay, and I can't wait to wear them, actually. It's gonna be really cute. So to get started, you want to take your paints, and you want to do black first. So you want to paint the whole shoe black, all right, or dark gray, or a super dark color. You want a super dark color. I'm doing my whole shoe. I thought this was black, but then I realized that it was Payne's gray, but that's okay because it looks all right. It's pretty okay. All right, and then sometimes if the paint is too thick, I will put a little bit of water. I'll mix a little bit of water in with it, but you don't want too much water, because too much water, it won't dry proper, and it's just a nightmare. So wipe your brush off a little bit. You don't want too much water in it, and I'm going to add a little bit of water to this because My paint is extremely thick, okay? And then you're just going to start painting your tennis shoe. I like to paint over the things because it's easier, and who wants to sit and worry about leaving it? You know what I mean? And it kind of makes it look a little cooler. So I'm just going to paint right over that. So this acrylic paint goes on really well, and the acrylic paint I'm using is, where's it at? Master's Touch acrylic, but you could use any acrylic. The hobby paint, I bet the hobby paint in the little bottles would probably work as well. So just paint your shoe, and then you shouldn't have to worry about that. You can just paint on that tape. You don't have to really worry about getting too, you know, on it, because it should, if you taped it off properly, you should be okay. Paint over it, and then we're going to do this to the whole shoe except the rubber. Don't paint the rubber. I mean, I guess if you want to paint the rubber, you can, but that's not what I'm doing today. It does take a bit to get this, shoe painted with the black first, but once you get it, it goes pretty okay. And if you don't, now this is the thing, you don't want to put on a lot of, like a thick layer of this, okay? You put a thick layer of this, if you're using acrylic paint and you put on a thick layer of this, it will take a amount of time to dry because you did it thick. But acrylic paint normally it just dries super quick, so you should be okay. Like when I did this one, no sooner than I put that acrylic paint on, it was drying. I mean, pretty quickly. And that's why I like using acrylic paint. It's my paint of choice. It's my medium of choice, is the acrylic paint. I prefer it. And so I'm just going to paint that. Hold on just a moment, okay? Give me just a second. Sorry, I had to shut my other door so you can't hear the background noise. Apologize. All right, so anyway, I'm going to just finish it up. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. Yeah, it dries relatively quickly, and it's what I like to use. So, I imagine you could probably do watercolor with this, and it would probably work. Watercolor stains, especially if you have like a liquid watercolor, I bet it would work. You could probably put maybe a coat of something on top of it. Okay, now once you get the whole shoe painted, right, and you've got all this painted, then you want to go to the tag. I forgot to put my tape on, and I'm glad I looked and noticed that, so I'm going to put tape on my tag because I don't want my tag to get messed up. And that's the next step, is doing the tongue of the shoe. I'm going to cut this straight. Now, if you want, you could do the same thing. I'm cutting this straight across because I want it to be completely even. I think that's why my other shoe didn't. I think that's why I had space, because I didn't cut it straight across. I just ripped the tape, and that's what happened. So, lesson learned, and that's how you learn things, right? So now I'm going to put this over here on top of it. Still not even the way I want it. Pull it up. You just got to make sure it's even. I'm glad that I remembered that before I started painting again. I mean, I could easily go over it, but okay, that's not going to be straight. Maybe I should have measured it. All right, there we go. Put that on there, and it's still not even. It'll be okay. All right, and then I need one more little tiny sliver because the tape wasn't long enough. And then I can resume my painting. Okay, so here's this. All right, now I'm done. Now if I need to fix it, I need to do any touch-ups, just use a little teeny tiny brush. Okay, and then now I'm going to start painting the tongue of it, and you want to kind of, pull that out because you're going to paint as far as you can there. I'm probably going to have to put some more paint in here. And mine is already starting to dry. How long have I been on? I haven't been on that long, and it's already drying. So that just goes to tell you how quickly this will dry for you. I'll add some water to this. There we go. Okay. And sorry, I'm trying to pull up my chat so I can see everything. So I can see everybody talking to me. Turn it down. All right. Now we're good to go. Okay, and then just start painting the tongue. Just work it all in there. Try not to get the paint on the inside of the shoe, which is not an easy task. It's not easy to do. You probably will get a little bit of residue on it, but try not to. Mine has these little flowers on the inside of it, so I'm trying not to paint that. Also, don't do what I did and touch the shoe because it'll take off paint if it's still wet. So be really careful about that. All right. Right over the tape because I have that protected, right? Everybody see me doing this, I hope. All right. Almost done with this. And then on to the next step. I try not to get it on these edges right here of the shoe. I try not to. It's not the easiest though. This is definitely a messy project, for sure. But it's a lot of fun. And if you want to revamp a pair of tennis shoes, this is the way to go about it, for sure. I had a pair of, my very first pair of Chucks that I ever bought was years ago, and they were pink, and they had the word Chuck Taylor all over them, and I loved those shoes so much. I wore them so much that I started wearing holes in them. I had cracks on the sides of the shoe, and eventually I wound up taking hot pink duct tape and duct taping over all the cracks because I could not bring myself to get rid of them. Eventually, I had no other choice. At that time, I was unaware that I could probably get them resold, and I didn't do that. And, you know, I just went with it. Okay, now I have this whole thing painted. Boy, my shoes are old because it's coming apart from the... I'm going to make sure I got it all. Let me do just a little more just to make sure. Okay. Now that's done. Next step is to just look around and see if there's anywhere you need to touch up really quick before we get started. Now that you have it all black, I see that I have to touch up a little bit around the edges. Just kind of move around and touch it up wherever you think it needs it. All right, and I definitely see a space right here that I didn't get very well. Okay, next step is to start painting the colors on it. This is pretty fun. I enjoy doing this part. All right, so you're going to need you can either use your finger, because I do that with sometimes with my Galaxy paintings, I'll use my finger, or you can use a stiff, stencil brush of some sort, just a really stiff brush. So I have this one too, and it's shorter, so it's extremely stiff. You can buy them at Michael's or anywhere, Walmart, anywhere that sells paintbrushes. You can also buy some of these types of brushes, I believe, in the home, I want to say the home, like the wall section, wallpaper, home section. I don't know, it's been a while. I usually buy mine at the art store. Okay, now, next step is I'm going to take a blue. So I'm going to take dark blue. I'm going to do dark blue first. So if you kind of look, you can kind of see some dark blue in there. And then I'm going to do some dark blue. So put some dark blue on my palette. I'm not going to worry about watering this down. And you're going to add just a very little amount to your brush. And I'll show you how I do it with my fingers too, just in case you don't have one of these brushes, okay? So then you're going to take, I'm going to zoom up a little bit, okay? Zoom up. Okay, can you see that? All right, so now you're going to take your brush and you're going to just start brushing it into it. And yeah, it's not going to be extremely dark. You want to work in circular patterns, okay? And think about like what a galaxy looks like. Like how would you, it's sporadic, you know, it's not all one clump. You just want to do dots and kind of push it into the black. See that? And then you're going to do that around, you're going to find different areas around the shoe to do that. Okay, so I have that there, and I think about a galaxy. If I was looking at a galaxy, I know that there would be more of that color throughout the galaxy there in the little nebula or whatever it's called. So there's another one. And then I'm going to work my way over and around. Do that again. So I'm just going to work with the one color that I have first. Kind of dab it. Brush it in. I mean, it's not extremely bright just yet, but it will be. There we go. See? And then I think maybe on the back, I might, or maybe on the top of the shoe here. I'll do some up here. It doesn't have to look uniform with the other one because, I mean, it's a galaxy. Not uniform, right? And then, you know, put some up so it looks like it's traveling up. See that? All right. And then once you have that, my next step is I like to use the white. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put some white in here. All right. So add some white to my palette. Don't need a whole lot. White. And then it's okay, you don't have to rinse your brush out because you want it to kind of blend. And then this is where you gotta be real easy with this, okay? When you're doing this. See how I'm doing that? Now when you start to blend that, it's gonna blend in with that blue. See that? Oh yeah, that's so pretty. I love it so much. And then kind of work it out however you want it. Now, if you don't like the way that looks, you can still work with it. Just kind of scrub it in there, okay? Just scrub. So there's that. Okay. Then I'm going to wipe the brush off just a little bit. And I'm going to add some more white. I don't want a lot of paint on the brush, okay? Kind of want to dab that off. If you're doing your finger, let me show you how to do that, okay? You're going to take some paint, you're going to stick it on your finger, all right? And just find a space you want to do it and just start dabbing. See that? And it'll work the same. You can use your finger. If you want, you can add a little bit of water to it to make it a little tackier, but it looks okay like that. See? So that's how you do that with your finger. Just kind of dab it. It's okay. And I'm going to go back over it because I want it to be a little darker. And I was already starting this, so. Right there. And then I'm going to get on some of the blue because I want it to be mixed in with the blue. And I'm going to add a little bit more blue because I want it to really give that light blue effect. I want you to be able to see that light blue in there also. Can you see it okay? I hope. And then up on the top of the shoe if you want, make it travel up. Okay, now that I have that, maybe add a little bit more in the back. And then the next step, see how I have that? It's pretty bright. Then the next step is going to be a different color, maybe. There we go. Add some up here. I like the white. Okay. Next step, I'm going to add some, I have some other, a different color of pink, right? I mean, a different color of blue. So I'm going to add this blue. It's like a, I want to say turquoise, maybe? It is, yeah, turquoise blue. That's the color I'm using next. So I'm going to wipe my brush off. I'm going to clean my brush off this time. Just a little. Because it's starting to get pretty nasty. And these stencil brushes, the paint goes up into this when you push on it like that. So you kind of want to clean it off. All right, now this is the color I really like putting on. I think this one is so pretty. It's just so vibrant and beautiful. There we go. And then just kind of blend it in with it. Oh, I love this one so much. There we go. All right. And then I'm going to do some over here. And we still have another color I'm going to do. I want to do a pink too, because that'll really just make it pop. Okay. All right, and next I'm going to do the pink. Well, maybe add a little bit of white to this, actually. All right, I added some white to that. All right, and now pink, and now I'm going to clean that out. And what happens is with the pink, if it's getting mixed in with the turquoise, I have a hot pink. So the hot pink it will turn pink, and it will also, it's like a fluorescent pink, and it's by Liquitex. And it will also turn like a purpley color, and that's how I got these colors right here, because I use the hot pink, and when you mix it with the blue, it gets purple. Purpley. Purpley? Yeah. So then just start mixing that in there. See that? Just find some places to put it. No rhyme or reason, just wherever you want. There we go. A little bit more. Yeah, think about like how galaxies move. You know what I mean? Like, you ever look at it, you could see like little, it looks like little strands of like stardust and gas and all that. It's really pretty. I think I might have to let this one dry because I have, I think, way too much paint on the tongue, because all it's doing is blending with the Payne's Gray, and it's not doing what I want it to do. But anyway, you want to like bring it over some, maybe bring some from right here over to here onto the tongue, if you would like. And I'm going to put some up at the top up here. All right, and then over to the side, because I have no pink over here. And then if you want, you can add a little bit more blue to give it the purpley look, because my blue is starting to dry, and I really do want it to have that purple look. So I'm going to add some pink and blue to that now. There we go. Okay, once we have that done, the next step, so this is what I got so far, all right? Sorry, the bottom of the shoe is dirty. Couldn't get the paint off, or the dirt off proper. All right, now the next step you want to do is we're going to add our stars. That's the next step. Super simple, right? So this is the part that gets really extremely messy, right? And so you have to be really careful. What I like to do is I like to take this brush. Now you don't have to. If you don't have a brush like this, you don't have to do this. You can just take your teeny tiny brushes and make dots. However, I like it better to do it this way and then do my little teeny tiny dots. So what I do is I dip my brush in water, okay? And then I add it to this white paint. So you want to get a nice little amount of water in there, okay? See that? It's kind of liquidy. And then the next step we're going to do is we're going to flick but not flick. You could do this with a toothbrush too. If you have a toothbrush, you can do it with a toothbrush. You want to take your bristles, okay, and you want to point it at your shoe and start flicking, okay? See how I'm doing that? Can you see that? Point it at your shoe. Now it's getting all over. And then see what it does? It makes this star effect. So cool. Now I'm going to have to turn this around so I could do this one. So I can't show you this side, but You get the idea of what I'm doing, right? Because I got to do this over here so I can see. So then here, look at that. Doesn't that make that look so much different when you do this? And then just make sure you have it close. Make sure you have it close to your shoe, right? Because you don't want it getting all over the place. And then if it starts to look like there's not a lot coming off, stick it back in that watery painting mixture and go again. Just get kind of close. You don't want to get too close because look what I just did. But that's kind of cool, actually. It looks kind of like a comet. That was an accident that happened. That looks kind of cute. And just work your way around. You can just concentrate in one area to make more in one area than others. So if you see, I got a lot right there. And then do it on the top of the shoe also. All right. Now this is what I have so far. All these little star things on my shoe, right? Okay, and then I'm going to take my little teeny tiny brush, and this is where we're going to start adding the actual stars, okay? So the next step is to take your teeny tiny brush that you have, hold your shoe, and then you're going to decide where you want to start putting these dots at, right? Okay, so I have another brush too that's not as teeny tiny, so I'm going to use this one to make the dots, all right? So I think I want one right here, maybe right here. Do some big ones, do some little ones. Think about how you're doing it. Put them in patches or whatever. See that? All right, I'm going to add some more. And then just work your way around with these dots. Try not to touch them because you don't want them to smear on your shoe, okay? Little, some big ones. See what I mean? If you want to do constellations, you can look up constellations probably and see what constellations look like. That's up to you. I'm going to leave that one like that because I really like that. That looks really cool. All right. Don't forget to do some up here, like on the edge. You want on the edge of the shoe so it looks like it was made like that and it doesn't look like you painted it, right? If you do it like that, then it's like, oh, look, that was manufactured like that. Of course, you might want it to look like it was hand-painted, and that's fine too. That's what you want. Don't forget to do the shoe, the tongue of the shoe. Now the tongue of the shoe is starting to finally dry a little bit. More than what it was. All right, don't forget the top. Okay, now remember, you don't have to take too much time on the tongue because your shoestrings are going to be, unless you have a shoe that doesn't have shoestrings, then that's super cool, right? All right. Now that you have those drawn, the next step, or painted on, the next step is to make some of them look like they're twinkling, okay? And the way you do that is like this. All right, so I'm gonna put that one up and I'm gonna use this teeny tiny paintbrush that I have, right? So I'm gonna dip that into my paint, wipe it off a little bit, and then you are going to draw a cross on your star, on your dot. So whatever dot you want, draw a cross. Look at that. Now you have who knew, right? Who knew that doing these to your shoes would be this super simple? And anybody can do this. It's so much fun to add a little touch to your shoes, or, you know, have like some little fun with yourself and your personality and how you are. I think that when people have fun little shoes like this, it shows a little bit of their personality and that they, you know, think outside the box, you know? So, this was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed doing this with you all. I hope that you all do this project too, and that you tag us on your Instagram. That'd be a lot of fun. So I can see what you did, and you would be tagging #CityMuseum, and so I can see all your fun shoe creations. Okay, so you can put as many of those twinkly stars as you want. That's up to you. Now I put one on the back. I want one on the back, you know, and I want some on the front. And they just, you know, like, as you saw, I didn't like really go into it and really think about what I was doing. I just did it. And, you know, you just do it, just scrub it, because that's what I basically did. I scrubbed it, and that's how it turned out. So if you do that, your little shoe will turn out looking as cute as this one. And then you'll have a pair of awesome shoes when you're done that you can wear around, and people will ask you, where'd you get your shoes? And you could say, I made them, so I decorated them. It's all me. You know, just because it's a lot of fun. Okay, well, I'm probably done with this. I had a lot of fun doing it. Let me zoom out. All right. So, fix my camera a little bit. So we made these shoes, super cool. Now, if you take off if you work around it and take off your tape, you're gonna see how super awesome this is. This is my favorite part, when you reveal like what the shoe actually looks like, because you just painted the whole thing. And also, by the way, acrylic paint, it's not gonna come off. So if you're outside playing or walking around or whatever, and it starts to rain and you didn't know it was gonna rain, no big deal. This paint's not gonna come off. It's on your shoe for good. You just made a wearable piece of art, and that's how you do it. So these are the shoes that I made. I will definitely wear them. If you come to City Museum and I'm there, I may be wearing these. But aren't those cute? Oh my gosh, I cannot wait to wear my shoes. I just made them new. All right, so if you want any information on City Museum, you can go to citymuseum.org, and it has all of our infos on what we're doing. You can also go to our Facebook page, which also don't forget to tear that off, to our Facebook page, which has all of these shows on it that I've done, along with a lot of shows that my fellow co-workers have done on Facebook, like the bug room, like George taking you through the bug room, and I'm assuming history of the museum, and just different things like stories that people have at the City Museum, and just different things that's really super interesting about us that you can go and watch for free. And until tomorrow, I'll be doing another project tomorrow at 11 o'clock. And join me then, and I can't wait to see your creations. Please post them for me. Have a great day.